have the most experienced member in the campaign to help you get used to it, so.
You do. He also helped me with, like, designing the system a little bit in the beginning, and he's been the one who's helped with everybody's sheets afterwards, so.
Yeah. Here it is. Alright. There's 2 different versions of it. I wanted it to be like a 2-phase thing.
Okay.
Here we go. Send it to you. Phase 1 on the left, phase 2 on the right.
I'm just...
Oh, shit! No, I haven't seen this. This is fire.
You haven't? Yeah.
Nah, it looks dope.
I'm excited for it.
Can't fucking
I
wait.
wanted him to look like biblically accurate and like alien. So the first phase, he has like that face that splits open into 5 corners, and then on the second phase, he's feral.
Shit.
Oh, that's cool.
I
Sounds cool. I haven't seen anything.
I can't wait.
You will tomorrow, probably.
You will most likely in tomorrow's session when you meet the rest of the group for the first time, because shit's about to go down.
And shit's about to go down.
It's about to go down for everybody.
Yes. Okay.
It's like a citizen walking in on a nuclear bomb.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a fun image.
that's
Okay.
a pretty accurate description of what's happening. All right, so you got your pre-rolls out of the way. You got yourselves a drink. We're good to go. You got some music on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything aside from the music, yes.
Yeah, everything aside from the music. Hold on one sec.
I highly recommend playing something in the background. It just helps.
Yeah. I haven't come up with a theme for my twins. I should do that.
You probably should.
Yeah, I'll come up with one because I'll send them to the NPC face claims with the theme attached.
Gotcha. Okay. So really before we start, is there any questions about your backstory that you have? Or is there anything you want to add to your backstory while we're getting into it?
As far as I can think of right now, I should be good.
All
Okay.
right.
If I have any more questions, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's always fine to change things around as long as it's not like set in the story.
It's not like, changing my stats.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to begin on a very cold day. You have been sleeping in your bunk. You're not used to this bunk. This is not the ship that you are normally on. And the sway and the rock and the sort of canter and the feel of her beneath your feet is just not quite what you're used to. You feel a hand suddenly on your shoulder. Somebody is shaking you awake, and you open your eyes to meet this girl. This is a face looking down at you that you are very familiar with. This is your Meister, Amani. You've been working together for several years, and she is considerably your closest and possibly only real friend that you have confided in. She has a look of excitement on her face, but there's a hint of something in her eyes that looks different. It looks maybe anxious and concerned.
Theme acquired.
Amani shakes you again, trying to wake you up.
So, I don't know what to do.
You're okay. So you can talk to her, or you can tell me what you want your character to do.
Okay. I want my character to wake up and ask her why she's trying to wake me up, basically.
Okay.
Like,
So
what's going on?
with the way that talking works in D&D, I really should have started with Dylan so you could kind of get an idea. I'll skip over to his twins in a second, but you're gonna talk like your character. You're gonna become your character for this. So
think about it like acting, drama class.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know how you guys asked me to read in the character's voice? Yeah, that's what this is gonna be a lot of.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice for them. Okay, so we're gonna switch over for just a moment to who do you want to start with, Dylan? I mean, they're probably together, but
yeah, they're both together, and I like to think that they're both just going over like, hmm. Let's see. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna text you. I want to add something that I thought would be a cool idea for their what's going on currently for them.
Okay. I was gonna say I can introduce your two as well. Also, when you say messaging me to ask questions, it's just in your inner room chat, which is what he's doing.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
Yep. Are we starting out with Silva?
Yes, Silva. All right.
Waiting patiently.
Yeah.
Sorry, sometimes this game is a lot of waiting for stuff to get typed out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Quick question: are you wanting to voice both of them? Do you want me to have somebody come up on you, or do you want me to run Veruna?
You can run Varuna.
Okay.
Her personality would be very similar to, let's say, like, either Viper or like a mix between like Viper and Eliza would be like their personality.
Interesting.
So very standoffish.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you two are standing out towards the edge of the deck. You're looking out over the water and seeing chunks of ice moving by you. Veruna looks at you. She rubs at her shoulders, lets out a breath, which is all steam into the air, and she goes, "It's fucking freezing."
Well,
Our first mission, alone, she gives you finger quotes, and we're stuck out here in the fucking tundra.
well, it has been a while since we've been home and not used to it anymore.
I don't even know what home is. Speaking of, she looks around, checking the deck. One of the deck hands passes by. It's a face you don't recognize. He doesn't pause. He just continues about what he's doing, pulling his heavy cloak tighter around him. Do you ever get the feeling we're being, I don't know, watched?
Ever since that day, always.
I just think it's funny how all of a sudden we get assigned out in the middle of frickin' nowhere. It's almost like they wanted to get rid of us.
No one knows what we did, and we will keep it that way.
We'd better. Anyway, do you know anything about this guy? The one we're competing against? She rolls her eyes. She doesn't look like she's super concerned about your competition.
Well, from the way I hear it, I'm not sure he knows much about himself.
Is that so? I don't know anything about the kid except that he's been serving on the, what is it? She snaps her fingers. You know, the executioner ship.
Alright. I'm gonna be honest, I'm still reading through this. Here, just text me which one I'm supposed to be knowing right now.
Sure, you're fine. You may not know what it is.
I may not know what it is. Alright, cool.
I mean, you guys have not been serving under her ship.
Yeah.
So, what you guys would know is that you actually started on the Argosy. You guys started in the Merchant Guild, but you transitioned into the, I'm sorry, you didn't start in the Argosy. You started on the fucking Soul Guard. You started in defense, but you ended up transitioning to offense after they realized how good you two were.
Okay.
And so you're not really familiar with the Archon or any of the people who serve under it. So you wouldn't really know about the captain too much. You know that she's fucking scary.
Alright. Yeah, I'm unsure it's what this ship, the Archon. I don't know how they function around here.
Once again, I think it's fucking weird that we got transferred out of nowhere.
Well, either somebody sees our talents or they want something from us. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't like either. Anyway,
Either
we should
option.
probably go look at this kid and see if he's gonna be of any use to us.
That's true.
We could always just get rid of him. I mean,
Hey.
I don't think he'd survive very long in this water. She's peering over the edge of the deck, considering.
Well, considering the trip we're on, I'm not sure many have.
Back downstairs. Amani is looking at you, and once again, she kind of has this concern hidden past the excitement. She looks like she's trying to look excited for you. You know that she doesn't always wear her feelings on her sleeve. Are you awake?
Well, I am now. You shook me like the world was ending.
Well, it might be. I mean, have you stopped to consider the fact that we're... She holds up a finger. Out in the middle of nowhere, holds up a second finger. And we don't know any of this crew, or this ship for that matter. It feels really weird, underfoot. I don't like it. And holds up a third finger. We have no idea what happened to this ship. Did you even read the memo? She squints at you.
Do I look like the kind of person who would read a memo? This might be an unfamiliar place, but I'm sure we can handle whatever it is.
She tries to give you a confident smile, but you can definitely see the corners of her eyes giving way that she is not being truthful. Well,
Are you sure that's all that's bothering you? Because you kind of look like you're not telling me the whole ordeal here.
Did you get a look at the people we're competing against?
Yeah, and so what? They don't look like a whole lot to me. Just look like another pair of strangers.
We're supposed to be working together on this, but I get this weird feeling. Like they're gonna, I don't know, stab us in the back the first chance they get.
Well, then we simply can't give them that chance.
I think we should try and cover our bases and find out a little bit about them.
I agree with you on that.
Well then, get out of bed and quit being lazy and let's go.
Fine. I get up out of bed and follow Imani, wherever she's leading me.
So you guys step out onto the main floor, kind of where the rest of the cabin rooms are. I am going to send you guys a picture of the actual ship you guys are on as soon as it pulls up. I believe in you. So this is a lot smaller than the ships you are used to. And you got the sense when you first got on the ship, there was this strange tugging at the front of it. Like, it just didn't feel right. And the way the ship moves through the water, it just doesn't... It doesn't seem like it's moving like a normal ship. But you haven't ascertained why yet.
You got pack sharks in here? Goddamn.
That's cool.
So yeah, you guys are walking kind of up through the underground levels to get out onto the deck. This is where Amani last saw this strange duo. Okay, so to recap the memo that she glares at you, didn't read, we're going on our first solo mission. We're trying to get the lieutenant spot. Hope you didn't forget that. And we've been sent with the other two, who are also trying to get a lieutenant spot, which, by the way, I think is bullshit, because they haven't even been with Archon. I don't even know which group they've been with. But they aren't part of ours, and I don't trust them. Silva, roll me a perception check.
All right. That is a 17.
You hear the very last thing she said as they're coming above deck.
Mm-hmm. He immediately, like...
It's not loud, like she was clearly trying to be quiet, but you fucking heard it.
Mm-hmm. He's going to, like, not turn and look at them, but he'll, like, nudge in their direction at Varuna.
What? She's still looking at the ice. She still looks like she is contemplating things.
He's gonna use the eyesight link.
She grumbles when you do this without her permission. Until she stops grumbling and just starts looking. And she sees what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And why am I looking at these two? Besides the fact they're walking towards us.
Looks like they're also gossiping about us.
Oh, good.
That'll mean more trouble.
So they fit in with everybody else. Good to know.
Everyone likes to gossip, especially on these godforsaken ships.
She waves her hand and clears the ability so that she's looking back through her own eyes, staring back out at the ocean once more.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this time that Amani looks up and realizes that the two people you guys were just talking about are right freaking in front of you. Dylan, would you like to post their art in the
Yes.
in the art channel?
Yes.
So, Brian, these are the two that you see standing off right at the edge of the ship. And they are giving you those hard dagger stares.
Oh, you know
wanna
what?
do?
Varuna's art actually looks like she's leaning up against something. I like that.
It does. It looks
So
like she's leaning against the edge of the ship, to be fair.
Yeah.
So Brian tries to do his best not giving a shit impression and pretend like everything is fine and he's not freaked out by the two complete strangers. And so he says, so you two are the people we've been teamed up with or paired against? You don't look like a whole lot to me.
The candidates, and, well, we'll wait and see what either of us are capable of.
As you two are saying this, somehow at the same time, Imani and Varuna both go, like what you said, like competition, but they do it in air quotes under their breath, like in unison. They both proceed to glare at each other without saying anything.
Would you stop death glaring each other? We're all on the same side here, technically. It's not like we have to fucking fight each other or anything. We're here to complete a mission.
They
and
both
leave.
say under their breath at the same time.
And stop doing that, it's freaky.
Imani crosses her arms and leans closer to you. She looks uncomfortable, but she is trying to be cordial. So, you guys are, Archon? Varuna says, looking at the two of you.
And you are?
Varuna glances at you, Silva, and then she says, I guess we're Archon now.
Ex-Soulguard.
Brian, you would know that the Soul Guard is the defensive ships, like I sent you in the notes. They're pretty hardcore over there, but not as hardcore as you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you. My name is Brian. This is Imani.
Charmed, she says under her breath.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Quite
you know,
the
less freaking, less, oh god, I can't think of it, so no. This is just me thinking now, because I can't think of the word. I didn't think of it.
You're okay. it
You're good.
happens all the time.
All the time.
It's always nice to meet someone from the less impressive Soul Guard. I mean,
Charming.
Varuna bristles a little bit.
well,
I
anyways,
trust you.
have a nice day. Me and Amani are gonna go raid the food stores.
You do that.
Right, Amani says, and she turns to move in the direction of below deck again. But actually, roll me another perception check, Silva.
Sure. 17 again. Wow.
You
Boy.
notice her posturing. She is not allowing her back to turn to you at any point.
Silva sort of just raises his eyebrow.
So are we just gonna stand here staring at each other all day, or are we gonna go back to what we were doing?
Amani kind of nudges you. She's already started moving towards to go back downstairs.
Oh shit, never mind. Apparently I'm the dumb one here. Bye-bye.
So you two kind of back off, and Brian, you also notice that Amani is not turning her back to the twins at all. You
Gotcha.
two start heading for the stairs. The second you're around the corner and heading down the stairs, she immediately says, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. Back up top, Varuna turns back to the ocean, and you hear under her breath, Silva, I don't like him.
Well, the boy could use some work. The girl, she's too much work.
She's got an attitude problem, Varuna says.
A respect problem.
Maybe we'll
We'll
have
see
to
what they're
teach
made
her
of.
some. Right. Well, I suppose we should review our notes and check in with the captain to see just how far we are from the location.
Sooner we get there, the better.
Beneath deck, Amani is pacing back and forth. She runs a hand through her thick braids. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, Brian? This is awful. This is absolutely awful. We're stuck with them as our only backup in the middle of God knows where.
I mean, yeah, but it could be worse. It could be someone who's actively trying to kill us.
She gives
not
you a
someone who's
look.
just glaring at us.
Glaring daggers is just the first step in homicide.
Where did you read that?
She read a news article about Soma.
You right. So yeah, you guys are both of you kind of hanging out with your partners. What would you guys like to do? The
Silva's
ship
gonna
is
head
at
over.
your disposal currently.
He's gonna head over. Silva's gonna head over to the captain.
So you start walking up to the helm, and you notice as you get up there, you didn't really. You've kind of been below deck a lot of the time because it has been cold and stormy, and all of your jobs being the kind of the leaders of this mission have not required you to be out being a bunch of deckhands, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you head up towards the captain, and you are greeted by. Where's his picture? I'ma find it eventually. Where is this fucker? Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there in the end.
We'll find this son of a bitch.
We really will. Oh, here we go. This fucker.
Oh.
He is standing up there.
Oh god.
Normally, where the wheel of the ship would be. Go ahead and roll me a perception check on him.
All right. That would be an 18.
You've
Good lord.
never met this guy before. you do notice right away he can't be more than 14, maybe even younger.
Yeah, I was
He's
just thinking that.
standing there, arms
So-
crossed. You do see a lot of damage along his face. The heavy coat he is wearing covers up a good portion of his body, but the way he holds himself, it's almost like you're staring at like a grizzled war veteran. There's just something in his posturing. He seems almost fearless. He also is distracted. There's this kind of 1,000-yard look in his eyes, and he doesn't seem to notice you as you're approaching. He's currently
So-
leaning where the wheel would be. There's kind of that railing behind it. He's leaning against the railing, kind of staring off into the distance in front of the ship.
So, about how long until we get a change of scenery around here?
He does not respond to you at first. He doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Earth to Captain?
He doesn't notice you again.
Sea to Captain?
Varuna kind of rolls her eyes at you and reaches over and touches his shoulder. Immediately, he straightens up and his head snaps to you, and you see there's this strange bluish black glint to his eyes. The whites are gone. It fades, and he straightens. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was being talked to.
Don't worry about it. As I was saying or asking, how long until we receive a change of scenery around this place? Just ocean for days.
Well, we should be coming up on the coast here by the end of the day. The girls are getting tired, but they're running firm.
So that is call for a nap I'm definitely going to be taking.
You do what you need to do. I'm just here to drive the boat.
I wish you luck, Captain.
He nods to you. Turns back, and as he's turning his head away from you, you see that weird bluish-black color return to his eyes. Well, that was freaky, Varuna says. We gonna talk about the fact there's not a fucking wheel? He doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Oh, what?
Dylan, did you
crap
die?
did I just click?
Oh shit, Dylan's dead.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, while I'm waiting for
Well,
him to
that's
come
sad.
back to life,
Oh, no.
Mike died one moment. That makes sense. So back downstairs,
Nice.
you guys are dealing with the fact that Imani is losing her absolute shit. What
Oh.
would you like to do?
I would like to go check the food stores.
Okay, so you guys walk kind of to the galley. There's not a lot going on. The cook for the voyage is down there working on dinner. He looks at you as you come in.
So, what you making today, cook, eh?
Well,
Okay. Oh, I'm
Please
back.
tell me you got some good food, like some chicken or something. I'm tired of the same shit every day.
he looks at what he's making. We got beans. He gestures to the pot.
Not beans. Not again.
Sorry,
I'll take
man.
it.
I didn't get a huge budget to stock up on supplies for the voyage, you know? Kind of the haze the newbie thing they do. He laughs a little and waves at you.
Awesome. Thanks. Can I please get 2 bowls of that?
Yeah, sure.
2
I
bowls of
can,
beans.
they're probably warm by now. He grabs 2 bowls and scoops some beans out of them into the bowls in his hand, and he holds them out to you.
Oh god, thanks. I grab the bowls and make my way back towards Amani.
Imani is still pacing back and forth.
Amani, come sit down. It's not like we can do a whole lot now. I mean, come have some food. Maybe that'll help calm you down. I don't know, I'm bad at this.
You're fine. She walks over to the table and sits begrudgingly, takes the bowl from you, looks down at it, and sighs. Again.
Yeah, I know it's beans again. Yeah.
She picks up the spoon and scoops some beans out of it and looks at them, and then kind of just toys with them on the edge of the bowl a little bit. Okay, so like maybe we should go over the case notes while we're enjoying our meal, she says, giving a totally realistic thumbs up to the cook in the background.
Yes, there are meal of most likely cold again beans. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
Okay. So she reaches into one of her deep side pockets and pulls out a journal. So what we know is that it was originally an Argosy ship. They're supposed to be supplying the Russian outpost of the DWMA. But nobody's heard from them. And they're not reacting to their medallion at all. Hopefully it's just the fact that they're too far away and maybe some storms are blocking the connection. But she kind of glances off to the side. The way that Tayton was acting when she gave us this assignment, I'm not so sure that it's just gonna be some kind of mix-up, you know?
Alright, so our best option is that they are just out of range and we can't contact them for whatever reason. What's the worst case scenario? Because you know what they say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
She smiles awkwardly at you. The worst case scenario is they're at the bottom of the ocean, I think.
I see.
Did you just make a pun?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Meanwhile, back up top, Silva, are you alive?
Yes, I am now.
Okay.
Also,
You and Varuna are walking back, kind of down the steps on the main deck.
Was it one thing? Check Silva's sheet real quick. I had an idea for a secondary active ability that I can use. Just one thing. So there's the passive and then that, just like how I did with Axel.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, he's probably going to give food and take a nap.
Okay, so you guys walk downstairs and head toward the galley, and as you enter the galley, Varuna's still going on about the fact that there's not a fucking wheel. You see Brian and Imani, whose names you don't know yet, chilling. Totally not eating the bowls in front of them. And Imani is huddled over a journal and looking kind of concerned.
He's gonna look over to Varuna and he's going to ask, so what exactly are we searching for on this expedition anyway? No, it's some sort of, shipment or something, but what exactly is it?
It's not a shipment, it's a ship. Did you even read? Why do I have to do everything? She rubs at the bridge of her nose. Look, basically, one of the stupid merchant ships went and got themselves lost up in the northern sea. Now we have to come out here and figure out why the hell they're not picking up their medallion.
I see. Well, anyway, I'm hungry. You hungry?
Well, judging by the, she glances down at the bowls in front of Brian and Imani. The, provisions for the day, I think I've lost my appetite.
I've eaten worse back on Tarkat.
You're right, she says and walks toward the cook. he has already expected people to come shuffling in for a meal, and he takes
I
the
found
bowls
my
from you.
pen, guys.
Proud of you.
What was that?
I found the pen. Let's
He found
go.
his pen.
Huh.
So yeah, you guys now have bowls, and it is currently you two and Amani and Brian and the cook in kind of the galley, and that's it in the room right now.
All right.
Verona gives you the side eye. Are we playing nice?
For now, I trust them about as far as I can toss a boulder, but... Well,
She looks you up and down. You can toss a boulder pretty far, so that doesn't really give me much of an image.
a big boulder. A really big boulder. One that I wouldn't be able to throw very far.
So a rock.
A rock is generally smaller than a boulder.
She squints at you. Okay.
About as far as I can throw a mountain.
Oh, that makes more sense. She takes her bowl, and Brian, you watch as the two of them hesitantly approach you guys and sit a few seats down at the same table from you.
What would I roll for that? Would I roll a perception check to notice that, or what do I? Do
Nope.
I just look
You don't
over?
have
Nope.
to. You don't have to
Easier.
roll anything unless I tell you to roll, or unless you specifically ask. Like if you want to search for something, then I will. I'll consider.
There is details
See.
about them that you could search about if you want to.
You could, if you would like to roll a perception check. There are things you could notice.
Yeah.
So you would be rolling just a regular d20 and tell me what you get.
Yeah. I got a 13.
Okay.
He's not hiding it all too well, so he can...
You can tell him what they see.
Yeah.
You notice that both of them have practically identical birthmarks. Or at least you assume they're birthmarks, as parts of them seem to be singed onto their skin.
Okay, I should put that in notes.
The girl is giving you that kind of icy stare over the bowl as she's taking slow bites.
So, I turned towards the other two sitting a couple seats down. So are the beans cold, or are they actually warm this time? Or like...
Verona swallows, pauses, looks up at you, and says, "Ice." Amani goes, "That's the first thing we can agree on."
Do any of you happen to have a lighter or a candle or something to heat these up so we're not eating frozen beans?
Well, not like I can just conjure fire out of thin air.
Well, that'd have been useful.
I mean,
That will be
maybe.
later.
Imani gets this kind of thoughtful look on her face. Okay, these are made of metal, right? The bowls are. So like if we aimed it really well, what if we used that flamey thing you do? You know what I'm talking about?
You mean my lightning?
No. The sun one.
Oh, solar. Oh, yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, we can try that.
Maybe that would work? She holds out her hand to you. You feel the familiar pull. The same sense that you get. It's this strange, tingling, almost oppressive feeling when you are being called to your Meister's hand.
Wait, don't we have to be out in the open for a solar ray to work and not in a dark, dank ship?
I did say if we aimed it carefully.
Fair point. Alright, let's get this show on the road.
They're gonna kill us all.
There is a good chance this could end terribly because the ship is made of wood, but here we go. I am going to... Okay, so do you transform into your weapon?
Yes.
So, twins, for the first time, you get to see. We did not post his weapon form in art, but I'm going to post it in the weapon forms page real quick. But this is the weapon you see that forms into her hand.
Ooh.
Liam didn't sign it. Dang it, Liam.
Didn't say it.
Yeah, so this is what forms into Amani's hand. And she kind of twirls the sword in her hand, getting comfortable with the weight of it, as she usually does when she warms up. Okay. She's speaking to you through her inner link, which is basically a kind of telepathic thing that you two do. Okay, so if we focus really hard, we direct all of the fire into the bowls, right?
We hopefully should not burn the beans. I mean, can you burn beans? I can assume you can burn.
They can burn, yeah. I used to work at Chipotle. They got burned a lot.
I was imagining Silva saying that until you said the shit about Chipotle.
No one questions the random mention of a Chipotle.
I used to work at Chipotle.
Chipotle is my life.
Chipotle. Oh my god. So
Chipotle.
yeah, you Chipotle. I'm done. You guys are going to have to roll. So go ahead and roll me a d20 to hit.
Oh, okay.
Usually how combat works, so you're gonna have to roll to hit, and usually your opponent can roll to dodge, but I don't think the beans are going to dodge.
I don't think the
Yeah.
beans are going to be able to dodge either, honestly.
However,
Yeah.
if you fuck up your roll,
The beans will dodge.
things will happen.
Oh god, that's funny. Okay.
I mean, you've kind of noticed that like a 20 is a crit. It's an automatic success, and good things happen, or
Yes.
really really bad things happen if it's being rolled against you. And a 1 is
like
a bad
the
time.
opposite of that. Okay.
It's a bad time, so don't roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1. Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, I'm gonna roll real fast. I got a 15.
Okay, so not too bad. So you, the twins, watch as this girl has scooted the bowls of beans kind of together at the center of the table, and she's kind of balanced the sword, and she creates in the twirling of the sword these beams of fire that begin to emit from the clouds that surround the blade, and all of a sudden they form into almost these snake-like tendrils that lash out and hit the beans. They hit 3 of the 4 bowls of beans. There is this little kind of explosion as the beans are impacted and they kind of go everywhere.
Not the bean.
But you notice that the beans that didn't leave the bowls are steaming and maybe a teensy bit on fire.
That's probably the most useful thing I've ever seen you do.
Amani kind of smiles sheepishly and lets go of you so you can transform back into your human form.
Hey, I don't. After I turn back into my human form, I look over at them and I go, "Hey, I don't know about you, but being able to portably cook food, pretty useful. Especially if you're out in the middle of a frozen wasteland."
You know what?
I feel.
Fair enough. Varuna kind of takes the bowl, picks it up a little, like, by the very rim, tilting it a little bit, looks at the beans, and she grabs the spoon and takes a bite, and she goes, "Well, they're not frozen anymore." You do not get any bearing on if they're any good based on her facial expressions.
I don't need to know. All I know is I did my job well.
I did my job!
I did my job. That's what it came to when I did it.
Oh god.
Wait, you said 3 of the 4 bowls were hit, right?
Yes. So there's one bowl that is just still sitting there.
How funny would it be if that was my bowl and I just sat down and ate cold beans?
I mean, it's the only bowl that didn't get exploded everywhere, so, you know. Whichever one of you wants a cold bowl of beans.
Silva doesn't complain.
Silva just takes the cold bowl, continues eating.
Yes, no cold beans for me. Let's
Oh,
go.
God. So, Amani sits down at the table, kind of slides her bowl back in front of her and starts eating like there's not beans all over the table and floor. Where are you guys from?
Tarkat. Island in the middle of nowhere.
Right. I am from an island too. She smiles a little. She, at this point, is clearly trying to be friendly.
Pacific or Atlantic?
Pacific.
See.
Hmm.
I see.
So you're one of the Latins, I assume.
You could say that, I guess. I wasn't on the island for very long, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't forget it. Sticks with you.
That is true. Ours definitely did. Well.
Varuna
Something
gives
in.
you an icy glare out of the corner of her eye and then returns to looking at the bowl.
But we took the first chance we got and left.
Is that so? She's looking at you.
Yes.
So why the hell did you guys transfer out of Soulguard?
They transferred us. We didn't choose to.
Amani is trying to hide that steely, skeptical look again.
And we don't know why, but we dare not question.
But you're trying out for the lieutenant spot.
Indeed.
For what company then if you got transferred out?
Varuna knows the specifics. I do the fighting, she does the thinking.
Oh, so you're the
Only
weapon
because
coach now.
you make me, she says. She sighs. Look,
Well,
we only got transferred a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I don't know a lot about Archon. I don't know a lot about your captain, or the ships, or any of that shit. All I know is, we were supposed to be going for lieutenants in the Soul Guard. Next thing I know, we're in the middle of the godforsaken ice-filled ocean that we're in now. Got it?
Sounds like they gave you the cold shoulder.
I'm going to kill him.
There's a collective, glare from the entire table as they just slowly look at you. They do, the Stewie head turn.
What? Did they say
Varuna.
something weird?
Varuna, permission to stab him.
I'm not cleaning up the mess.
Not it for cleaning up the beans, by the way.
You're lucky this time.
Yeah.
Also, I never properly asked or introduced myself, but what is your name?
My name is Brian, and where I'm from, that's not important. Yeah, no, I'm from, as far as I can remember, at least.
Seems to be a lot of that going around this table today, Amani says, casting a look towards the twins again.
Be rude, we just were being nice to them.
I'm being nice.
Being nice does not mean glaring at people out of the corner of your eye.
Fine, she says, and looks back down at the bowl.
I'm sensing some blanket hostility.
Look, I don't trust people around my partner, okay?
Don't worry, I don't trust you either, but we have to work together, I think.
Good. Then we know where we stand. For the first time, she actually looks like she's okay with that comment. Great, we cleared the air. We both hate each other, and now let's get to work.
And, well, I won't stab you in the back unless Varuna says so or I find a reason to. So, as far as we're concerned, we're in a bit of a truce, a ceasefire.
A parlay.
Sounds good to me.
Great. So I guess we should cover our bases then. Do you guys know anything about this ship we're supposed to be looking for?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
It is supposedly a Argosy ship that went missing somewhere off of the Russian coastline towards the BWMA there. I'm not sure what happened to it, so I guess we'll figure that out, but it shouldn't be nothing we can't handle.
So, like, the Russian branch, if my geography from my school days still suits me, isn't even close to the coast. So why were we delivering supplies via ship? That doesn't make any sense.
Apparently they think we're camels or pack mules or whatever the hell you have out here in the frozen shithead.
Well, I mean,
Well,
Argosy ships, when they're running supply routes, they do deliver to a lot of our ports of call, but it's odd to me that we would deliver all the way out here.
so we're not the only ones who thought this entire mission was suspicious.
No, we thought it was suspicious we got teamed up with two strangers.
And I
Not
thought it was
just that.
suspicious that they transferred us here without our consent.
So are we assuming that they sent us out here to die? Or to disappear? Or do they actually think we're capable of doing something, and is there really a serious problem?
Well,
Varuna kind of like looks at the two sides of it and gets a thoughtful look on her face.
depends on who approves the mission. A few years ago, I heard about some random squad that got wiped out.
See, I like thinking more on the positive side of things, so I'm gonna err on the side of, nah, we can kick whatever's ass. Or maybe not kick ass. We can deal with this.
What are you talking about? Amani says, looking at you.
What do you mean what am I talking about?
No, like,
They just...
no, you. She looks at you, Silva. What do you mean?
2 years ago, before I went out to seize, some random squad, I never knew their names or anything about them, but there was some issue with the, how should I put it, approval of their mission. All of them were wiped out, except for maybe 3.
Why does that sound familiar to me? Amani kind of leans forward and rests her chin on her fist and thinks for a moment.
It's
This
some
was-
American thing.
Yeah, this is one of the American branches, I think. You didn't know any of them, did you?
No, not personally. I have been in the UK branch ever since I started out, but I would hear things from over there. And to be honest, glad I don't live in America.
You know, I used to know a girl who transferred over there.
You don't say.
Yeah, she was really sweet, but kind of tragic backstory. A little too tragic for my taste.
Do tell.
Something about... I think her mom was a surgeon. Was, killed both of her parents when some guy brought a bomb into the hospital while they were trying to work on a gunshot victim. I remember some of the specific details, but it was bad. All I know is it messed her up. They got her out of the UK as fast as possible, thought it would help her recover, but I never heard about her again. You know how it is when you're out here on the water. Word does not travel fast.
Absolutely not. Now we're going to some place and fuck all nowhere. But at least we hopefully won't have to deal with whatever the fuck is going on in America. I hear so many terrible things from over there before I went out.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? They are Americans.
It's true.
So, what's our play in this exactly? Amani says. I mean, what are we gonna do when we get to this area? I mean, the Russian coast is huge. Do we have some sort of a plan, or...
As I said, I just do the fighting, so if anybody gets in our way, I'll kill them, but the planning is up to the smart ones. That isn't me.
Don't look at me, I'm not doing this by myself this time, Varuna says, squinting at you.
Well, we do have 2 new people.
Yeah,
Which one of you is the
new
intelligent
people, one? Varuna says, squinting at you, Brian, and then at Amani.
I feel like you already know which one of us is the smarter one. I don't even remember where the hell I'm from.
Amani
I'm...
concedes.
Well, I'm not good with the whole intelligence thing, so you do you.
He's actually a lot smarter than he looks. Don't let him fool you. Amani elbows you under the table.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, I guess we could ride the coastline for a little bit, see if we see any signs of the ship. Maybe it got beached or marooned on something.
Maybe a big monster destroyed it and ate it.
Yeah, like that's accurate. Monty says this as a joke, but there's kind of this distant anxiety returning to her eyes. Right. Well, assuming that it's not at the bottom of the sea, we ride the coast and hope that we can see it somewhere. Okay, but what if we don't? Varuna says.
What if he was attacked by a shark with swords?
A shark with swords?
What?
I don't know about
Amani looks at you.
It's one of the things I've feared since I was a child. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
well,
the
lucky
deep
for
lore.
you, I think they like warmer water.
Oh, God. I can confirm, you hear a voice from behind you. It is the captain. This is also one of the first times, Brian, that you are seeing the captain. You also see the very young boy walking in. He doesn't look older than maybe 12, 13 to you. He does have that haggard walk, though, almost like old grizzled war veterans have.
Are you sure you're the captain? You look a little young. I mean, don't get me wrong. You probably have plenty of experience from just the way you carry yourself. But are you sure? You're like 12.
Amani kind of puts a hand over your mouth and looks at you and says, "Rule number 1: don't insult a captain on his own ship." Varuna in the background goes, "What she said?" She takes her hand off of your mouth.
Like I said, I wasn't insulting anyone. I was just politely asking.
Politely trying to check my credentials to see if I'm qualified to operate in my position, the boy says, looking at you. I'm perfectly capable of operating this ship, if you are concerned, sir. Besides, you wouldn't be going anywhere without my girls. So, for the
Your
moment,
girl?
you'll have to put up with it. Yeah.
What do you mean by your girls?
Varuna in the background whispers to you, Silva. It's about the fact it doesn't have a wheel.
Right. Yeah, so how do you sail this thing?
Do any of you actually do your research before you get on a ship?
Like I said, I don't do that.
Oh my
Research.
He irritatedly rolls up a sleeve, and you see on his forearm there is a tattoo of what looks to be a shark. further up on his forearm, there's a second one, and you can see the hints where it stops at his elbow, where he stopped and rolling it. There might be a third.
Don't tell me it's a shark with swords.
No, they're just regular sharks without
Oh,
swords.
thank God. Whew.
But
Well-
think of how much cooler they would be if they had swords.
No, they would not be much
The
cooler.
captain gets a thoughtful look on his face.
No, I would prefer if they didn't have swords.
The more swords, the better, I say.
But how
The
would
less
they
swords.
carry them?
I don't even like sharks.
In
I'd
their
rather they
mouths.
not have weapons.
No, we just duct tape them onto their fins.
It would be worse as an anthropomorphic shark with swords. Whew.
A shark with posable thumbs and swords.
Well, like I said, you wouldn't be going anywhere without these three. He points to the first tattoo. This is Hassani. And Fermina, the second. This one up here is Kalita. They do the heavy lifting. I just make sure they know where they're going.
I see.
And how exactly do you make sure they know where they're going?
He makes eye
Just
contact with
first
you.
right, there's no steering wheel.
As he looks at you, you watch as his normal colored eyes suddenly shift, the whites disappearing, and they have this blackish blue hue that encompasses the entirety of his eye sockets.
Oh, that is gnarly.
I speak, and they listen. It's a mutual thing.
Well then, the more you know.
Right. So, like I said, landfall in 3-4 hours. Do we have some sort of a plan? Or you want me to just sail aimlessly up and down the coast?
I mean, we could try that, but if they were also going to a town or something, or like a port city, like you said, we could go ask people around there if they've seen the ship at all.
See, that's the problem. Based on the intel I was given before we left, there isn't a port on the borders.
Like, what the fuck?
So are we gonna have to like parallel park on the coast, or?
Is it really parallel parking if we're just going
Oh
along?
my fucking god. So the captain reaches into his coat and pulls out a map, and he unfurls it on the table and kind of places his hands on each side to hold it out. Okay, see this right here, this little inlet? If you look on the map in the maps of Russia, he is pointing to the division between the Beastlands and the rest of Russia, where the waterway goes up into the land.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the only thing I can think of, that they went up into here to get away from some kind of storm. I mean, the Russian sector of the DWMA is supposed to be down here. He points kind of off into the Russian area left of Epic Centaur. So, again, not really a port, and it's a long-ass ways, but maybe they were driving up to the coast to get supplies? I'm not sure. But we're coming in from here. He gestures toward the far eastern side of Russia. You guys are currently coming over, if you're looking at the map where House Levin is. You guys are coming in from that side. He says, so we can run the coast all the way down here, following the coast along the top of the Beastlands with his finger. We can follow this coast and see if maybe they ran into some trouble on the way. best I can say is it'll take us 3 to 4 days to get over there if we run the coast to its full extent. But it's up to you. He allows the map to furl back up as he raises his hands. I'm just here to drive the ship.
Hey. What do you want to do, Amani? I don't know.
I mean, why are you looking at me?
Well, you're the one who usually comes up with the plan.
I'm getting tired of being the one who has to come up with a plan all the time. I don't know, what do you two think? Amani says, looking over at the twins. Oh shit, did Dylan die again?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, there he is.
What was the question? I was typing something.
The captain has asked you if you want to ride the full coast along the top of what none of you know is the Beastlands currently.
Well, I think that's a decent idea.
It seems like the best bet.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Okay, well, we should reach the top coast here, nodding to the top right of the Russian coast. And I guess we'll just make our way along, have one of the crew set up in the crow's nest, see if we can spot anything.
Varuna, you have better eyes than me.
Gotta go sit out in the cold and the freaking air and be even more cold, and she just like pushes herself up from the table.
Who knows? Maybe Brian can warm you up.
She glares at you.
Not in that way. No, I would never let him touch you.
Amani is now glaring at you. Both of them are glaring at you.
Hey,
Oh, good lord.
I was thinking of fire. Fire warms things up. I'm not the smart one here. You guys come up with something better.
Amani kind of looks at Varuna and goes, he's just as much of an idiot as mine is, isn't he? And Varuna just goes, yeah. And they both start walking towards the stairs.
Well, at least they agree on something for once.
That makes two things in one evening.
Both
Holy
of
crap, I think
them-
we might be on good luck.
Both of them lift opposite hands, flipping you off, like in unison, without intending to, and start walking up the stairs.
Huh. I think they get along.
I agree. They definitely get along.
Well, now that this room is full of testosterone, I'm leaving. The captain says, taking his own bowl he's got from the chef and walking back outside.
I may be dumb, but I'll have you know that I'm quite in touch with my femininity.
He just like pauses with the spoon in his mouth, looks back over his shoulder, looks you up and down, and goes, uh-huh, and keeps walking.
Alright, have a good day, Captain.
So, the two of you are alone if you want to talk about anything. Otherwise, I will move things forward.
I'm going to go take a nap, Silva says and walks away.
Okay,
Alright,
so Brian, you are in the galley with your half-eaten bowl of beans. Is there anything you would like to do before you take a rest?
I look at the giant bean explosion around me and I decide that's a mess for the cook to clean up for not warming up the beans enough. And
Wow, wow, rude. Okay.
I
Damn.
never claimed to be nice. I claimed to be a sword.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, you guys go to take a nap. And it's kind of just like that for the next couple of days. Varuna and Amani share duties of keeping watch, and when they are not up there, one of your other ship hands is out there in the crow's nest, kind of just looking for any signs of a ship, but you don't see anything. And interestingly enough, as you guys start to follow the coastline, you don't see anything at all. I mean, it's cold, granted. It is very cold, but I'm talking no signs of civilization. it just looks like kind of a barren wasteland along the coast. And any hints of civilization, the few and far between that they are, have been long abandoned. It's going on the third day of this endless, shapeless coastline when Imani suddenly shouts from the crow's nest. Oh shit! Oh shit! Varuna, look! Varuna, who was half asleep on the crates at the bottom of the mast, kind of shoots up and looks around. What? Why are you yelling? Imani is leaned all the way forward to the point she is about to fall out of the crow's nest, and she's pointing at something on the coast. But it's so foggy and it's snowing, so it's very hard to see. Silva, you and Brian hear the commotion on the deck. It is very easy to hear Amana's shout.
Yeah, Silva laying down on like a fucking bench or something somewhere, like with his arm over his head. He like sighs. He's like, ah, all right.
Please tell me they aren't arguing again.
You two kind of run into each other in the hallway and say this as
Yeah.
you're walking towards the main deck.
Well, let's just hope that she hasn't stabbed yours.
Stabbed mine with what? Does she just
You'll
carry
see.
infinite knives on her? Like in her shoes, she'll just pull out a knife and stabby stab.
She's a weapon.
Oh.
Brian contemplating. It fits so well too, because he's like so not well versed in Meister Sim weapons.
Welcome to how I'm going to play my character.
It's
No,
great.
honestly, I'm gonna be honest. You're a natural at this.
It's great.
Yeah.
So you guys get up on the deck and you see first Imani, who's about to fall out of the crow's nest because she's leaning so far forward, trying to squint into the haze. Next, you see Varuna, who is standing at the side of the ship. She's got a pair of binoculars out, and she is peering through them toward the coastline. It's a building, isn't it? Or maybe a ship, Imani says. I can't tell. Varuna isn't saying anything.
Found something? Haven't stabbed each other, have you?
Not yet, Varuna says. She's still peering through the binoculars.
Well, at least they haven't stabbed each other.
This is true.
Do you guys try and look through the, like, are you trying to look through the haze at what they're looking at, or are you watching the girls?
I'm gonna watch Imani to make sure she doesn't fall out of the crow's nest.
Okay, so you're watching Imani, Silva?
Silva's gonna try to peer through Varuna's eyes.
So you use your link, she doesn't object, and you are peering through the binoculars and you see a shape along the coast. It's a very large shape, and at first you do think it's a building. You're almost sure of it too because it's massive. Maybe it's the size of an academy, a bunker. You're not sure, but it's enormous. It is bigger than the ship you're currently on right now. But
What
then,
the fuck is that?
as you're looking through, she blinks. So you lose sight of it. And in that one split second of her blinking, it's not in the same spot that it was a second ago.
No.
That is whatever that is. I am not excited about it. What the fuck is that thing?
You saw that, right?
I did.
I'm not sure. I can't tell through this shitty weather we're experiencing.
What the hell could that even be?
She lowers the binoculars and looks at you. Well, it's possible that this is just a mirage that we're seeing due to the weather conditions and the shitty visibility.
A mirage. In an icy ocean, don't you usually have to be like extremely dehydrated and in a desert? Well, I guess like Antarctica's a desert.
Well, you take a look then, she says, holding out the binoculars to you, Brian.
I take the binoculars and I look through them, noticing.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Oh god. The thing kicked me out. What the fuck? There we go. And it's a 19.
You look through the binoculars and you focus. And you focus really easily because you are attuned to the weather. You know what to look for. You know how to work with the weather. You've been doing it your whole life. And you see a coastline. The white sands and the dark rocks sprinkled with snow. It's pretty. It's also very light toned. You don't see anything.
All I see is a coastline and some rocks that are powdered with snow. I don't see any creature or anything. It's just the coast. So whatever you saw, it's either hiding, gone, invisible. God, do I hope it's not an invisible something. God.
I don't like invisible things.
No,
Maybe
they're
it's
kinda
a
hard to
shark
hit, aren't
with
they?
swords, Varuna says, glaring over at you.
Don't you dare.
You
Oh,
hear
yeah, land shark with
footsteps.
swords.
There are footsteps running up the stairs from the lower decks. It's the captain, actually, and he's panting. And he runs up and he looks around frantically. And without saying anything to you, he runs toward the front of the ship. You
Captain?
also noticed the ship is not moving.
Oh,
Have we been beached?
Captain,
Is
are you?
it a
is
shark with
everything
swords?
Okay.
He sprints to the very front and he slams his hands down on the siding and leans forward and looks into the water. He lets out a breath and just stares.
What you looking at?
He doesn't say anything. He seems almost frozen. His body trembling. He looks like he's in pain. His fingers digging into the wood of the siding of this ship. His hand trembling with the absolute force. There are tears streaming from the corners of his eyes.
Guys, wait. We aren't moving, and this is pulled by 3 sharks. So, did something eat the sharks? Is there even a thing that can eat sharks? What the fuck?
What's going on down there? Amani shouts at you. She's a ways up in the crow's nest. She can't really hear you guys.
I'm not a fan of something that can kill sharks like that. It's probably worse than whatever could be a
Shark
worse
with
than a
swords.
shark with swords. Worse than a shark with swords. If something could kill the sharks, I don't know what they're capable of.
An invisible land shark with swords.
I would not be proud, and I'd be happy with that. No, they're very.
Oh no, I would agree with you there. That'd be bad.
Yeah, that would be very bad.
What are you guys talking about? Amani shouts at you. She leans further over the edge of the crow's nest.
I look up at Amani and yell back, "Would you stop leaning so far over the crow's nest? You're going to fall, and honestly, I don't really want you to go splat."
It's fine. It's not that big a deal. And it's about the time as she says this that you feel a shudder.
Oh.
What was that? Why did it feel like it just suddenly got colder or something is watching us?
It's slight, but the ship has trembled just a little bit.
Guys, get down from there. I don't like this.
Amani
Varuna.
can't hear you. Varuna is staring up toward the front of the ship. You follow her gaze and you see that the water at the front of the ship, the ice that pools and shifts with the waves, is turning colors.
I try again. I look up and yell at them. get down here now. Whatever is going on, it caused the ship to stop moving, and whatever killed it can probably break the ship. So I'd say we'd better get prepared for a fight or something.
Ship is under attack.
Alright, I'll just... She puts her hand on the crow's nest to kind of swing herself over the edge to get down, and that's when it happens. There is this lurch as the ship is hurled to the side. I need all of you to make a dex save.
Oh,
Is that
fun.
still a d20?
It's going to be a d20, and then you're going to add your dexterity to it. Just yours, not the total.
Okay.
Thankfully, I went into dexterity. That is a 24.
Okay. You put it in group rules for me so I can...
Yeah.
Brain. I gotta do math.
I rolled an 18, so 18 plus 7 is what? 26, right?
Oh my fucking god, this is so poetic. Oh, Jesus.
So?
Yep. So, you two,
Also,
you managed to kind of run sideways with the lurch of the ship running
it'd be
up
25,
the
sorry.
incline. You both pass. As you scrabble up and grab the roping on the side to keep yourself steady. However, you hear a scream from the crow's nest as Imani goes tumbling head over heels. The crow's nest thrown completely out from under her, the ship lurching to the side, and she somersaults and then slams into the water.
Oh no.
Silva's going to switch places with Varuna.
You switch places. Varuna is up towards the front of the ship. She is clinging on to the siding near the captain, and she actually has a hand gripped onto the captain's collar. She is the only thing that has kept the captain from going over the edge of the ship. So now you are holding the captain by his collar and gripping the siding.
Okay. I'm gonna roll strength to grab him.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Also, I'm listening to the opening theme for Baldur's Gate 3, and this is really fitting.
Shit.
That is a natural 20.
Okay, so what are you?
Holy
what exactly
shit.
are you trying to do? You just trying to keep him from?
I'm gonna pull him to a safe spot.
Okay, so you kind of scrabble him backwards with your strength and almost hurl him at the mast towards the center of the ship. And he gets there and kind of hits it, and the impact seems to shock him out of the stupor that he is in, and immediately as he comes to, he almost shrieks breathlessly in pain, gripping at his arm and doubling over. The ship has kind of started to steady itself after this lurch, kind of bobbing back and forth a little bit. You hear a scream from somewhere beyond the edge of the ship as something breaks the surface of the water.
He's going to call for Varuna to transform.
She sprints towards you and transforms into your hand.
All right, now I can send her weapon form.
Hell yeah. Yee. So that is what they look like.
Cool.
You see that she has transformed into a strange-looking trident. So you are now holding her, and you look over the edge of the water, and you see Imani has breached the surface and is clinging to a hunk of ice that is broken off from a sheet. Her body trembling with cold.
Can I... Is it possible for me to roll instead? Because that says teleport to a location you can see.
So the question for that is, can you use it without her stats added because you are not being wielded by her?
9, 8, 5, 9. This is what I get for not being int 8 and res 5. Fuck, I don't have enough presents.
Fuck yeah, he doesn't have enough presents.
So no, you cannot use that ability. But you
Oh.
can get creative.
You can get creative.
Like I said, using abilities is only a part of this. You can talk your way into doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, I might allow it with a roll.
Can I try to do it anyways, even if it fails? Just miserably, just like out of pure, just wanting to get to her.
I mean, I have allowed you to get away with pulling this shit before, Dylan. Right? Let's see. What's...
Or wait.
How far off are you? From... It's
I-
just presence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you can roll for it, but you're going to be rolling at disadvantage against me if you want to try it. So keep that in mind.
Okay. Alright.
So rolling at
possible to
Are you familiar with
buff
disadvantage?
myself first? Not a frick included.
Do you know how disadvantage works?
If I roll a lower number than you, it doesn't work, and if I roll a higher number than you, it has a chance to work.
So, no. Disadvantage means you're gonna roll 2 d20s, and you're gonna give me the lowest one.
Okay.
Advantage means you're gonna roll 2 d20s, and you're gonna give me the highest one. So basically, you have double the chance to fuck up, or you have double the chance to succeed.
Yeah, gotcha.
So if you're rolling at disadvantage, go ahead and roll me 2 d20s. If you want to try it.
What if I get two of the same number?
What was the number?
I just got 2 14s.
Okay, let's see if that works. It's just a tie, so you would get the 14.
Okay.
Okay, so you focus. You've done this kind of weird teleport thing before. You and Imani figured it out just recently. However, you've never done it by yourself. So you try really hard to focus in on that feeling, trying to remember what Imani has done being the wielder of you. She's the one who does all the motions, and you just can't figure it out. But you do manage to kind of hurl yourself off the side of the ship, and there's a burst of wind behind you as this occurs, and you kind of slam into the ice that she is holding onto. It's a pretty big chunk, and you manage to hit the chunk without going into the water. And immediately you are barraged by just how cold it is. Just being within inches of the water and on the ice itself, it is freezing. Imani is scrabbling, trying to keep a hold of the ice, trying to pull herself out of the water, but it looks like she's too weak to do much of anything right now. The shock of the cold is getting to her. She's having trouble focusing on you. In fact, it looks like she might not even realize that you're right next to her.
I run. Am I allowed to run up and pull her up?
Yeah, you can try. You're gonna have to make a strength check for me.
Alright. Just roll a d20.
D20 plus your strength.
$23.
Okay, so you grab onto kind of the back of her coat and brace your heels into the ice, and you start dragging her. While you're trying to pull her out of the water, Silva, what are you and Varuna doing?
He's keeping an eye out for whatever's attacking the ship.
You are watching, but you don't see anything in the water at the moment. Everything seems still apart from the slightest hint of rocking from the ship getting thrown earlier.
He's gonna look at the damage to the ship then.
You kind of inspect the sides in the areas you think that it might have been impacted from where you're standing, but it doesn't seem like anything's wrong. You don't hear the sounds of water pouring in, and you don't hear the crew screaming below.
How close are they to land?
You are, I would say, about a mile off.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
That's a fucking ways. And in freezing water too.
Mm-hmm.
How windy is it?
Like 20 miles per hour.
20-mile-per-hour winds? Nothing crazy. He's going to call for Brian, and he's going to say, "The sails, change them. Point them towards the wind."
Right.
Brian,
Return
you
the
are
sailboat.
half paying attention to being shouted at as you're trying to drag Amani out of the ice water.
You know what? Silva notices this. He's going to run towards the sails.
You start running towards the sails, just as Brian is managing to drag Amani onto the ice floe. She collapses at your feet almost instantly, her body shivering. You know that she is from the islands in kind of Spain, Caribbean style, warm. This is not her environment normally anyways, and she is not handling the shock of the cold water well.
Okay, so in the like just right under my available abilities, I have to be transformed into my weapon form, right?
Normally, unless you can use an ability, unless you have the stats for it, without her assistance.
9 speed, 8.
I allow roleplay instances of using certain parts of abilities if you can justify them.
Mhm.
Which you'll get used to kind of as you go along. So what are you trying to do?
Well, I was gonna use assist, my assist ability, because I have all the required stats without transforming.
Okay, so
And
what part of assist were you wanting to use?
that's what I can't figure out because I can't use cleansing rain because that's just a boost, but and I don't have a healing thing.
Yeah. So assist works really well if you're trying to boost your teammates' moves.
Mm-hmm. I have nothing else to do. Well, the
I
only
will
thing
say, assist will not work on Silva.
nuts. That's interesting. Okay. What do I want to do? Alright, 12 total. I'm just gonna write this down, that'll be so much easier. Okay, and I'm gonna see if I can do that without him.
Okay.
Speed. Obviously, I cannot because I don't have enough speed. Well, balls. I don't know what to do.
Is there... So, outside of your abilities, is there something you can think of? Because again, you don't have to use your abilities in this situation. You can...
It's true.
If you can justify what you want to do with your character and roll well for it, I might allow it. You just have to communicate with me. I will tell you if it's reasonable or not.
Okay, yeah. The thing I'm thinking is I could have used Blessing of the Storm if I can get through to her to turn me into a weapon, you know? And then just because it says gain the ability to fly short distances, I could have her fly from the iceberg back to the ship. But like you said, she's freezing right now, so that's not
So
helpful.
do you want to try talking to her or seeing if you can snap her out of it?
Yeah, like okay, what's my character rating? So we should be wearing a coat because he's a pirate. I take my coat off, put it around her shoulders just to like give her a dry thing so she's not completely drenched in ice water, which probably isn't going to help at all, but whatever. and shake her and be like, "Listen, you need to turn me into a weapon now." Just like trying to get through to her, just like, "Listen, damn it."
Let's see if she's gonna listen to you. She rolled a 3. She
Damn,
is
okay.
shivering, and she kind of has this 1,000-yard stare, and she says, "Bree?" That's what she calls you, because she knows you hate being called Bree, because it's a girl's name. "Bree, I don't feel so good." I will add, by the way, Silva, you have noticed that the two of them are no longer on the ship.
And Silva's not being very useful.
Well, yeah,
Not
Silva
very
is
good teammate. I know you're
Yeah,
looking
but-
out for your
sister.
Damn, bad teammate. Bad teammate. How could you?
Yeah, well, that's Silva for you. Anyway, he's gonna try to turn the sails to get the wind pushing against the boat.
Okay, I won't even make you roll for it. You were trying to readjust the sails. You managed to unfurl them, and you're trying to change their direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to get them to go towards land?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a d20.
All right. A 19. I don't know what I did with my pre-rolls, but I'm rolling great today.
Yeah, goddamn, sir.
No kidding.
It's ironic because in the first, 4 sessions, Soma didn't roll above, a fucking 10. And it was
Yeah,
bad,
and-
and that was the joke.
Yeah, that was the joke, is that he is terribly unlucky.
Yeah, so, and I don't know how he survived.
Amari right now. Good.
Mhm.
If with those rolls. Yeah, Amari's rolling really bad. So you manage to redirect the sails, and the ship kind of jolts, catching the wind, and you guys start moving in the direction of land, which is good for you because you figured out how to move the ship. However, Brian,
Yeah.
you very quickly notice that the ship is moving away from you.
And here I was, warming up your beans just yesterday.
You didn't warm up his beans.
This is what I get for not warming up his beans. God, darn.
You didn't warm my beans.
This is what I get. All right, I try to get her Amani's attention again, so we can get back to the ship.
Okay,
and not
what
be
do
stranded
you
behind.
do to try and snap her out of it?
Well, shaking her didn't work, so what can I do? What can I do?
You could just carry her.
Yes, but there's frozen water everywhere. Not
Yeah.
frozen water, but freezing water.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brian doesn't want to get his boots wet. He wants to get his socks wet. Come on.
Oh God, could you? Oh, I hate that. I hate wet socks. Oh God, I do the only thing I can think of and throw her over my shoulder and just dead sprint towards the water.
So you try and run along the ice floe to catch back up with the ship. Roll me a speed check.
Okay.
Compete with the boat. See how it goes.
It's because I'm carrying Amari, isn't it? God. I rolled a 1.
So
Are you-
you pick Amari up and you go to start running along the ice, except in your
And you slip.
panic and your fear that you are going to miss the boat, you kind of misstep, and 1 second you are upright, and the next second you are surrounded by water.
Ah, balls.
Silva's gonna look for some rope. I have a plan.
You open your eyes to the shock of this freezing cold water, and the freezing cold actually stunts your body, your whole system. And for a moment you're paralyzed, unable to breathe, unable to move, but you see something deeper down in the dark abyss below you. There's a figure moving slowly. And as it comes toward you, it starts to get bigger and bigger. Silva, what's your plan?
I'm gonna tie some rope around the end of Varuna's trident.
Okay.
And he wants to go around to the back of the ship where he can see them.
Mhm.
And is there any solid ice around them?
Yes. There are a
He's
bunch of,
going
like, think
to-
like a bunch of ice floes kind of just
Yeah.
broken, but, you know, you can move through them.
Yeah. He's going to throw Varuna and try to stab the tip of her spear into the ice.
Roll me d20.
All right. A 17. I've been rolling a lot of 17s today.
Okay. She slams into the ice. Imani, who is closest, she kind of tries to scrabble, her cold, shaking hand reaching up, slipping the first time, but connecting on the second as she grabs hold of kind of the prong of Varuna's trident.
And he's going to yell
Imani,
out.
she also is she's tried to keep a hold of Brian this whole time. So she does have her hand on Brian's collar.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
So,
what is your plan, Silva, before I describe what happens?
He wants them to try to, I guess, use the rope to climb back onto the boat.
Gotcha. Imani is trying to pull you. And she is weak. She is freezing cold, but she manages to start pulling you out of the water, and you're watching because you're still paralyzed as this dark figure is moving closer and closer, coming up from underneath of you. And just when you think it's about to reach your feet, you're still unable to get a good look at it, but she breaches the surface of the water and kind of hauls you onto the ice floe. And the ice floe is tilted because the ship is moving at a substantial rate of speed now. And the ice floe that has been speared has kind of turned into like a tubing situation.
fun.
Yeah.
The cold bite of wind moving sharply against your cheeks, it feels almost like razor blades. It brings you back into focus. You realize you and Imani and a strange-looking trident are on a hunk of ice that is moving very quickly. And there is some dark shadow in the water swimming after you.
Okay. So Imani's all good now, right? She's like still freezing, but basically she can somewhat function.
She is conscious. I can't speak for her state of mind to you as the character, but I mean, she did pull you out of the water, so there is that.
Above game, there's an idea I had that he could do.
Okay.
That could probably work. Because the boat is moving fast, so they've probably almost exceeded that 100 feet for the teleport. However, they could theoretically teleport further onto the rope.
True.
Yeah.
You could try and get your heads together enough to use an ability, if you would like.
I'm tempted to see if I can't transform into a weapon again and try either Blessing of a Storm or Thunder Wave to like stun whatever the hell is coming after this.
Okay, so do you have a D10?
I do. I'm using an app, so I have all of the dice.
Okay, so roll me a D10. We're gonna use this to see how well your resonance is with your partner.
Yeah.
And the goal here is not necessarily to have a high or a low number, it's to get as close to your partner's number as possible.
I got a 3.
Okay. You reach out your hand to her because you've never really figured out how to transform by yourself. You've only been able to do it when Imani has pulled at you in that strange sense. So you reach out your hand and you grab her and you look at her, and Imani catches your look and fights through to focus. and you feel that pull finally after a moment. You feel yourself moving into her hand and transforming into the sword that you're becoming familiar with. What would you like to do?
Since we're on the raft and we'll get to the thing at the same time, I'm thinking I use Thunder Wave and try and stun whatever's coming after us.
Okay. Interesting.
And so I
Go
definitely have enough
ahead.
of that.
Go ahead and roll to hit. It's gonna be
Roll
a
a
basic
D20?
D20. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
I got a 12.
Ugh.
It's also an area of effect that's 30 feet radius, so as long as it gets close, it'll work. Oh no, it doesn't get close, does it? Fuck. That's never good. Oh wait, I'm something the land.
You go to hurl this thunderbolt, the thunder wave, and you can kind of feel the energy building up in Amani's hands as she directs you forward as the blade, and that energy shoots off of the tip of your blade into the water. But you notice as it moves toward the water, the shadow is gone. And it hits, and there is this vibrating explosion that shoots water up into the air in this brilliant splay, shattering ice everywhere. You don't see anything in the waves.
What?
It does give you enough time to recollect yourself, though. Amani is standing holding you on this ice floe that is still being pulled rapidly behind the boat. And Varuna is still stuck in the ice. Not like she can do much at this moment.
Oh, wait, idea. Could we pull Varuna out of the ice and have Silva, like, try and tug us?
Are you sure you want to do that?
Fuck no, I'm not sure. I was just asking a question.
So, sometimes as a DM, I will ask you that question. I'm not saying don't, but I am saying if you fuck up, you may not be happy
Probably
with the
dead.
results.
I might be
Yeah.
dead, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot of consequences to actions.
There are a lot of consequences.
Yeah. Oh no, the consequences to my own actions, Douglas.
Oh no.
Bridge I said
Exactly,
I'd cross when I got to it.
That is
Exactly,
the-
yeah.
That is
Oh yeah, when I by the way, when I rested, did my AP regen from that first solar ray I used? Or...
Yes, it did.
Oh, okay, then I'm doing my math is wrong. Okay.
Man, if it was Soma in Brian's position, he would have probably just evaporated the entire ocean, or tried.
Soma would be doing
You
some
didn't
fuck
do
shit, and
that?
you know it.
Yeah.
What?
Katya
Soma
would
just
be
wore a
down
force
there
with a
trying to
5.0.
fist fight whatever it is like she did last time. Pridwin would just be like swimming rapidly,
And then-
outpacing it.
And then Soma would be attempting to destroy the entire ocean.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, I respect that. I'm just trying to have my character not die horrendously right now.
Yeah,
'Cause
fair.
First time playing this,
And
so
to be
honestly,
fair,
you know,
This is how D&D goes.
this is
Yep.
so wait, if my character does die, do I have to make a whole new character?
Yes, but I doubt he's gonna die in the first session. I got you. Just have faith.
I
But
don't.
I don't. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's a very valid reaction.
No,
So-
my character Soma shouldn't even be alive.
What are we doing?
Okay,
What's the
well,
plan?
we missed horrendously with the lightning bolt. And so how close are we to land now?
I would say you're about a half a mile. Like, you're moving fast, but the wind also, like, has kind of shifted directions a little bit, so you're not going straight at the coast. You're going, like, kind of diagonal towards the
Yeah.
coast.
Gotcha.
Sova's going to yell and he says, "Get on the fucking rope before you die."
I I agree with him, and I telepathically say to, oh god, I'm remembering it.
Imani.
Unfortunate.
Imani.
Thank you. I tell Imani to get on the rope.
Okay, she says, and she climbs up onto the rope, scrabbles forward, kind of holding you between her teeth, holding your blade between her teeth, and using both of her hands to start crawling. And she is now suspended over the water as y'all are hauling this ice chunk, and her weight, luckily, isn't more than the ice chunk, so it's kind of holding the tension in the rope somehow, but she is starting to climb.
Good.
I'm gonna tell you how well she's doing. She's not doing bad. She rolled good for once. So she is starting to climb as rapidly as possible. Silva, you are watching from the back end where you've tied the rope as she is making her way forward. Would you like to roll a perception check?
Me?
Silva.
Okay.
Oh wait, what? What do you need me to do?
Perception.
Perception? Okay. That is a 5.
Okay. You notice what is right in front of you, which is her. Her body is weak. The shock is setting in. She is cold. She is having trouble getting her fingers to cooperate. She is barely holding on to this rope.
How close are we to the bow?
You're about halfway.
So would that be less than 100 feet or more?
Yes, it would. It would be less.
Whirlwind steps to the boat, just right by Silva.
Okay, so you guys focus together, and her energy, she's having trouble focusing on anything you say, even through her inner link, but she manages to formulate this burst of air around the two of you, and she shoots you forward. Next thing you know, Silva, like, you're looking at her about to fall off this rope, and then suddenly she is standing right behind you, bent over, her hands on her knees, panting, dripping with freezing cold ocean water that some of it has just started to freeze to her body.
Why didn't you tell me you guys can do that?
Can't go very far, she says.
Silva's going to begin pulling Varuna back.
Are you, like, taking her out of the ice, or are you just pulling?
Yeah, taking her out of the ice.
Okay, so you whip the thing to the side, freeing the trident, and begin to pull her rapidly towards you. The tail end of the trident skimming the water. You hear her curse at you as she makes contact with the freezing cold through your inner link as you start to pull her up. You guys are about a quarter of a mile from the shore, moving diagonally at this point, and all four of you are back on the deck. The captain is up at the helm right now, giving orders to a few shipmates who look frantic.
Silva's gonna go down with them and sort of gesture for Brian and Imani to follow.
Where are you guys going?
Towards the captain.
Okay, so he's like up on, where the whale normally would be. And you guys start approaching, and he's standing there, and these crewmates are shouting at him. What are we gonna do? What do you mean they're gone? He says, they're gone.
So we're stranded.
It means they're not there anymore, he says angrily. He looks hurt, but he's trying to keep his cool. On hearing you say stranded, he turns his head to you sharply and gives you a look, but you don't see any proving that you're wrong in his eyes.
Not the end of the world there. I've been stranded in the ocean, so we need our own ingenuity. First, we get to land as fast as possible until that beast leaves, if he does.
Did you even see what it was? One of the crew asks you nervously.
He looks to Brian.
Yeah, I was under the water and just staring at it slowly. It wasn't swimming fast, but it wasn't swimming slow either. It was as if you were, like, in person terms, just power walking. Yeah, no,
the
you
captain squints at you.
Anyways, no, it couldn't really tell what it was, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then next thing I know, I'm on the iceberg.
How big are we talking? The captain says, looking at you.
Big enough to eat your sharks, that's for sure. Like, just... Oh.
You see one of the crew members place their hand on the captain's shoulder. He looks even more devastated on hearing you say this.
Sorry for your loss, but man, we need to get out of here. I don't know what that is, but we are.
Well, the wind is carrying us toward the shore, Varuna says, now back in her human form. If we can just hold out long enough to get close, we could maybe make landfall, and then...
Oh, no.
But she doesn't finish the sentence. Because you feel something on the bottom and then the sides. There's this wet crunch. You hear the sounds of boards creaking under strain. And then all of a sudden, the boat rapidly shifts sideways. Immediately, all of you are unseated from your positions on the deck. You find yourselves mid-air, grasping at anything, at everything, at ropes, at wood, as the world around you is a distorted mess of wood and water and snow and gray sky. The world is a mess. It's fine, he listens when he BRBs. The world's an absolute mess to you. Nothing makes sense, and all you can find yourself doing is grabbing onto your partner and pulling her close and just trying not to get separated into the chaos. As soon the wood and the water and the darkness of it all envelops you, and then there's just nothing.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna place you on hold for a second. I'm just reading down my abilities, thinking of something I could do, and one of them is called Italian Nightmares. Why can I make pasta start raining from the sky? And why did I not know this before?
I thought you would like that ability.
That is awesome. Love that. Okay, anyways, you can continue.
Oh, that's all I'm gonna say until Silva gets back.
Oh, no. The storm is brewing and calming around you, gain the ability to determine what the weather will be like within the next 24 hours. Comfortable at sea, while on a water-bound vessel, you're most enjoy plus advantage on all dex checks and dodge rolls. All right. Well, that's useful. Hey. Dust rain. I definitely do not want to do acid rain.
What's wrong with acid rain?
Acid rain, I don't think is going to help us in our current predicament. But that is all I have to say.
What did I miss?
We got yeeted.
Oh, that's fun.
I know, right?
So basically what I described is that you got unseated from your spot, and then everything was chaos. You just see wood and water and sky in a whole bunch of distorted flashes, and then you see nothing. You just see darkness. And all you can do is hold on to your partner and just try not to get separated in the mess. And as the darkness is swallowing you up, I want you to roll me a perception check, both of you.
17.
5.
So, Brian, you were the only one that is going to see this. I'm going to send it to your inner room.
Awesome.
You, in that
What
darkness,
horrors beyond my comprehension am I gonna see?
as everything is falling apart around you, you see something massive. This figure amidst the pieces of the ship that are coming untorn.
What in the hell? That looks like a rabid badger. Or not a rabid badger, a rabid beaver.
Beaver.
It
Really big one.
is
Like a shark
shredding
beaver.
everything around you, and this thing is massive. When I say massive, that claw there where its thumb should be is about the size of you.
Oh, fun. Can I send this to Silva? I really want him to see this just to get his reaction.
Nope. You can describe it to him, though, when your character sees him next. Because the next thing you know, all of you are unconscious.
Balls.
Fun.
So, I want both of you to roll me a d20 to see who's going to wake up first.
13.
Nat 20.
Holy shit! And the girls both
You
rolled
wake up.
5s.
Nice.
You shoot awake. You feel pain, and you feel cold. It feels like the heat of your body is leaking out through a hole somewhere. Everything
Ooh.
is sore. Places you didn't know you had are sore. In fact, it reminds you of the last time a ship was torn apart right under your feet. This is not the first time it's happened, or the second even, and you are lost for a moment in the memories, the hints of flashes that you never can quite remember of your mother, and the remnants of the ship that you spent most of your young life on. Debris floating in the water around you, blood mingling with the colors of the sea. And then you snap back to the present, and immediately you are greeted with this. You see wood, you see metal, you see all different kinds of what look like ship parts strewn around you. It is all debris. And there are hints of fires burning along some of the most recent wreckage. You're not sure what it is. You push yourself up, staggering, trying to get over the immense pain that you feel. Roll me a Constitution save.
Okay. 13.
You manage to get on your feet, and you just look around at the devastation around you. You don't see the ocean anywhere. In fact, beyond the hints of wreckage in the distance, you see what you think are trees, mountains moving upwards far into the distance in every direction. What would you like to do?
You said there's hints of fire around, right?
Yes, like in the bottom part of that image, it looks like there's fires burning and kind of amidst all of this wreckage.
Gotcha.
It's nonsensical though, not so much like the image where it looks like it was things pieced together. This is just absolute chaos.
Gotcha. Alright. I'm gonna look around my surroundings for survivors, whether that be Silva, Varuna.
This is another accurate picture of some of the metal pieces you're seeing.
Oh, have fun.
As you start looking around for survivors, you come across in that second picture a carcass of a whale. And there are shred marks all through it. Massive tears taken out of it, whether by claws or teeth, you're not sure, but the rest of it has been left to rot, and the smell is horrendous. Do you want
Right.
to call out, or are you trying to be quiet as you make your way through this place?
I'm trying to be quiet because for all I know, that thing is still around and prowling, so I'm not going to try and get its attention. So I'm just going to put my hand and pinch my nose and just continue slowly crouching, sneak walking around and looking for any signs of life.
Silva.
Question actually.
Go ahead.
Does he dream about anything?
You do. You have memories of smoke. It's the smoke that brings them on around you. You feel pain in your arm. You hear the sounds of screaming in the distance, and that smoke, it's so oppressive, it is hard to breathe through. It has this sickening, brackish odor to it. This almost sludgy consistency. It's so thick, and just as you're trying to make your way through the smoke to peer through it, you see two glimmering eyes forming within that darkness. And just beneath those eyes, a brilliant orange glow beginning to start. And as the glow moves to envelop, to devour you, you open your eyes.
He sort of shocks himself awake.
You realize you're not on the ground. You are dangling. You had managed to grab a piece of kind of the siding and looped your wrist into some rope to try and keep yourself attached to the ship, and it worked. You are still, in fact, attached to a piece of the ship. But you are suspended by that arm, dangling. There's about 20 feet beneath you of just nothing, and then wreckage and debris below. You're not sure what kind, but it looks like perhaps if you were to drop, you might get impaled by something.
Varuna?
Are you saying this loudly?
Yeah.
Brian, roll me a perception check.
I got a 10.
You got a 10. You thought you heard a noise, but you're not sure from which direction, so you stopped to listen. Silva, you have shouted. Let's see if anybody hears you.
Mm-hmm.
You hear coughing in the distance. The air around you is smoky.
Varuna?
More coughing. She doesn't
Varuna,
respond to you.
Where are you? I'm kind of in a predicament here.
That makes two of us, you hear from somewhere behind you.
He's gonna try to
Spin.
Yeah.
Spinning like a ballerina.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
kind of like shift yourself and try and twirl yourself around a little bit. Roll me a perception check. Let's see if you manage to swing far enough to see anything.
19.
You see about 15 feet away from you, off to the side, kind of underneath some wreckage, there appears to be movement. You see a pair of legs, a pair of boots that look familiar to you, and they shift a little bit, but they don't do much more than this.
He's gonna try to do a bit of acrobatics and try to swing off the rope to evade getting impaled by anything.
Okay.
He's gonna drop 20 feet.
I'm gonna roll like dexterity or something.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a dex check.
Yeah. That would be that is a 23.
See what you get. Oh, you barely passed that. So you manage to swing your feet up and brace them against what the rope is attached to, and with several tugs, you manage to hurl yourself using your feet as a springboard to kind of yeet yourself over the top of the debris to a clear area. I mean, you rope burn your arm in the process like a bitch, but you don't get impaled. Yay.
All right.
Brian, you hear a crash somewhere to the west of you.
Do I roll a perception check to see where the noise came from?
Nope, you just heard the crash. It was loud enough that you could figure out it's somewhere off to the west.
Well, okay, I turn off to the west and I cautiously make my way towards the sound of the noise.
Okay, so you start walking, and the closer you get to where this noise came from, the more you see smoke. It's starting to get thick, and you start to realize that these look like the ruins of what was once the ship you guys were on. And you would know there was a store of, how do we say, gunpowder? And some explosive residue in the bottom of the ship that the girls may or may not have known about because they did research, but you two probably had no idea. So, yeah, it exploded. You're able to piece that together as you're starting to walk through this wreckage. And it's about this time as you're looking at the smoke and everything that you see movement. And Silva pushes himself up. Somehow, miraculously, he has landed in a patch of ground that does not have any spiky debris on it.
And he's going to rush immediately towards where he thinks Varuna is.
You start running towards the boots that you saw, and you have to fight your way through large hunks of metal and wood. You hurl a piece of the deck out of the way until you find her. She has not moved for a reason. The very thing you were trying to avoid has happened to her. She's fallen from some height, and she is now impaled on a piece of what looks like rebar or steel. You're not sure.
Where has it pierced her?
It's gone. She landed on it on her back, so it's gone up through the left side of her abdomen, straight out the front. You can see blood on it, and hints of flesh has torn. She hasn't moved. She's got one hand that's gripping the rebar just above the wound, and her eyes are closed. She's trying to keep herself quiet. She seems to sense the danger in this area, even without being able to see it.
Yeah. Fuck. Brian, where are you?
Perception.
You're right behind him.
Yeah, okay. I'm right behind him. I walk up on this site and I go, oh my god, how the fuck is she still alive? I mean,
Find
I'm glad
money.
she is, but like, how in the fuck?
There you are. Find Amani. We need to get away from here as fast as we can. And he's going to tear off a piece of his shirt and try to do a fucking... How did I forget the name of? Fuck.
A tourniquet?
Tourniquet, yes.
There you go.
Okay. So you do so, and I don't know where you're gonna apply this tourniquet, but
Actually, no.
Yeah.
Tourniquet wouldn't work on the abdomen.
you can't amputate a torso.
Yeah. Let's see. So his clothing is made of like a vinyl material.
Have you tried hard enough?
So he's going to tear a patch off of it, and just as he's going to pull her off of it, he's going to place the patch around the wound.
I am going to ask you.
Yes.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, I'm going off of medical training that I learned, so.
Okay.
Yes, but this is
Mhm.
D&D.
This is D&D. This is true.
Anything can happen.
I'm going off of what I know about
You
medical
go
stuff.
find a giant
So
massive
you're gonna
beaver
try and
shark.
lift her off of this rebar?
Actually, first, what is the rebar attached to, if anything at all?
It is jutting out of more of what looks to be like a plate of steel. Maybe from the railing of some metal, more modern ship.
Okay.
It looks like the railing, a segment of railing, is what she has been impaled on.
Yeah.
And it's attached pretty damn solid, like it's welded to the plate of steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you don't want to remove something if it's been stabbed into someone, because that's like the only thing plugging a person usually.
Well, yes, I'm thinking of because
But,
there's ways to plug that
They
sort of
kind
thing.
of impaled on a welded piece of metal, so you don't really have much of a choice.
Okay.
Well, you're debating on what you want to do there. Brian,
Yeah.
how are you?
Brian.
How are you doing? Where are you going?
After this, I say, fuck it, throw caution to the wind, and run, or wait, no, I don't, actually, scratch that whole idea right there real quick. I asked Silva if they've heard or seen my partner anywhere.
Nothing of the sort.
Which direction did you come from? They might be close by, who knows?
He points up.
You look up,
Hey.
you see a piece of rope dangling from a section of the ship you guys were previously on that is like 20, 30 feet above you.
Okay, Harry Potter. Anyways, the boy who lived. Shit. Alright, I'm gonna just run around and try and find them real quick.
So you
Imani,
just
there we go.
start running, or are you just gonna start shouting?
I'm gonna jog and yell a little bit. Be like, or yell like, Imani, where are you? Are you hurt? Okay? Are you awake at all? Hello?
Let's see if she answers you. Okay, so you're calling out, and you just when you are ready to turn back to try and find your way back to where you last saw Silva, you hear something. It sounds like crying.
Roll a perception check to check where the noise is coming from.
Go ahead.
Yep. I got a 2.
You aren't really sure. The way that the sound is echoing off of the debris, it's really hard to tell. I mean, it's somewhere nearby.
Well, if it's somewhere nearby, I can stop the jog and just power walk around. Still like saying it, because clearly the noise is coming from nearby.
So you call out again. This time more carefully listening, and this time you begin to make out the sounds of crying coming from a hunk of metal. It looks like the hull of a ship that's been eaten away by rust and debris and perhaps torn apart by something. The crying
Fun.
sound is coming from within.
I walk inside cautiously to investigate the sound.
Ever so slowly you creep forward, placing a hand on the rusty metal. It creaks a bit as you duck inside of it. Your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, and you make out a curled up heap in the corner. The body is rocking gently with the sobs.
I walk up to the person and place my hand on their shoulder and be like, Monty, is that you? Like, just trying to figure out if it's them or a member of the crew or what, or like what happened, how they got there.
You place your hand on the person's shoulder, and immediately you know your Meister's voice. You know her presence, but you've never really heard her cry before. Again, always playing her emotions close to her chest. She is sobbing. Her body shaking, her arms wrapped around her shins, her face buried into her knees.
Gotcha. I do my best to console her. That's the right word?
What do you do?
Do my best to, like, comfort her.
Yeah, but what do you do?
I don't know. I hug her. There we go. Hugs are nice.
You crouch down, you wrap an arm around her shoulder, and she allows you to pull her in close to your chest. And after a second, you hear somewhat understandable words amidst the sobs. What did I do wrong?
What do you mean, what did you do wrong? You didn't do anything.
What did we do wrong, Bree? Why would they send us out here to die like this? I thought we were doing well.
You and me both. But hey, they failed, so we're still alive.
Still alive? Look at where we are.
Well, as far as I can see from, inside the hull of this giant ship, we have shelter. We can make fire.
We're in a graveyard, Bree, of ships. Do you see any other people around? Whatever that thing was, it brought us here, and that means it's gonna come back. We are so fucked.
No, we can always leave.
Would you
always an alternative.
Stop being so nonchalant about this and accept the fact that we're in trouble for once?
We've never been able to meet trouble we haven't been able to get out of, so when that day comes, and oh boy, that won't be today, I'd like to see that.
She kind of gives you this almost hysterical smile, laughing a little under her breath. You're impossible.
Yes. But we're still here. We're alive. Our other teammates are alive.
They are.
So, oh yeah, no, they're, well, I mean, one of them's kind of been impaled by a piece of rebar, but...
What do you mean? She gets herself up. Where are they at?
I mean, follow me, and I'll show you. I leave the hull of the ship and head back towards where I think Silva and the other one, I can't remember the name.
So you
Veruna. There we go.
kind of managed to find your way back after a few attempts, and once you get near, you can kind of hear the sounds of effort and grunts of pain.
Veruna,
Those
you're the
lead you back.
Veruna, you're the smart one. What am I supposed to do here?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not that smart. You're just lazy.
I'm not gonna argue with that one.
I don't know. She has her eyes closed and she's sweating. She's flushed. She looks like she's burning up, even though it is very cold where you guys are.
Yeah.
Brian, you are starting to walk up, starting to hear bits of this conversation. Amani is following you.
Yeah. I stop look at Amani and I say, promise me you aren't going to freak out because I'm gonna need your help.
She gives you a look. Like, really?
Yes, really. You were just crying like 5 minutes ago. Yes.
Thanks
Yes,
for
really.
that, she says, wiping at her cheeks
Very
with the
welcome.
side of her hand.
You're very welcome. Now, are you gonna help me? Because like I said, frickin' Varuna kinda got impaled. Okay? And by kind of, I mean did. Definitely did.
Okay.
Definitely got impaled.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
So,
here. I'm focused, she
yeah.
says.
Yeah. I lead her back to where Silva and Varuna are, and I ask if, by any chance, Silva has like a nature-based move at all or anything, or if anyone knows anything that can heal.
No.
Fuck. Oh yeah, you're a Meister. You don't have that shit. Fuck.
Yeah. And
Well,
Karuna doesn't have typical elemental abilities.
Yeah. Well, I have. Well, that's not going to be very helpful then. What's the point of having a buff to healing stuff if I don't have a healing move?
That's for later.
What do you mean that's for later?
That's for when you meet the rest of the party and find out which one of them has healing moves.
Yeah.
No, my teammate got impaled.
This character I'm playing is a character I made specifically for this, so.
Oh, so this they can just die. Okay, cool, fine.
Yeah, they could very well end up dying.
They
depending
could.
On what
We'll
happens.
see if they make it. So, yeah, they've come up behind you. The three of you are looking down at Verna, who is very stuck and not offering you many pieces of advice. What would you like to do? It's up to you two.
I look at Silva and be like, "Oh, you got any bright ideas for this?"
If I did, she wouldn't be still impaled.
Fair point. I mean, I look at Imani and go, "Okay, hear me out. Do you think, by any stretch of the imagination, I could like transform into a sword and you cut the rebar in half, or like at the bottom of it, close to the sheet metal?"
Brian, I'm strong, but I don't know if I'm that strong.
No, I have some pretty good faith in you. I mean, what's the harm in trying, right?
I don't know. I missed my swing and cut her.
That's a pretty long piece of rebar. If you cut her, I will be slightly mortified. The fact that you just made me impale someone again. The double
Well,
impalation,
regardless,
that's
she has a chance of dying either way. So can we choose the better option?
Which is, Amani says, looking at you.
It's like, what's the better option here?
Cut the goddamn rebar. I'm not leaving her in this thing.
10-4. All right, so I turn into a little sword.
You turn into the sword.
I do.
And she's holding you. And you just stare down. For a long moment, she stands there hesitating. And then she gears up and she arches back to swing. I need you to roll me a d20, and for the love of God, do not roll a 1.
All right, what about oh god, I did not mean to double click that. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. 9. Fuck. I rolled a 9.
You swing. She swings. And you, in your blade form, you feel
now I
yourself
roll a
moving,
19.
and
I hate life.
You see yourself moving toward her, and there is this crunch and this heat, and you feel yourself cleaving into something.
Ah, that's not God.
Whew.
Silva, you watch as she swings the sword and clips just where the blade is at the base of her skin on her abdomen and actually cuts into her abdomen a bit, tearing it open, but she does manage to sever the rebar.
And then Silva's going to immediately pick her up.
You grip underneath of her shoulders and underneath of her thighs, and you lift, and she lets out this gasping shriek of pain unlike anything you have ever heard.
There has to be settlements out here. We have to take her to some sort of healer or doctor.
I turn back into my human form and go, yeah, like Amani said back at the other hole of the ship, because this is a ship graveyard, she has informed me.
Uh-huh.
That thing might be back. So we'd probably better leave
Yes,
before
yes,
it
we should.
gets back.
Silva's already walking towards, like, deeper into land.
So
I quickly walk after.
you guys start walking, and it's just more ships. Torn apart carcasses of large, undescript animals. You make your way through them silently, at times holding your breath for fear that at any moment, whatever that thing was, it might come slithering and crashing through the wreckage around you to snatch you up. Silva, she hasn't moved much since you've picked her up. You feel the heat of her blood on your forearms as you're carrying her.
He is still pressing forward.
You keep walking. You make
Also,
it to... Go ahead.
I sent you a message in my inner room earlier. I just wanted to let you know, and then you can continue.
Totally missed it.
You're good.
Oh! Huh. Hmm. I'm thinking they probably don't hear that quite yet, but they do feel, as you guys are walking, a sense of almost inexplicable dread. There's a chill running up and down your spine, and it's not just from fear of whatever that thing is finding you. This is honest to God, paralyzing fear. So strong it almost hurts. Amani stops, puts a hand to her chest. She looks like she's about to start hyperventilating.
What the hell is that?
I don't. So I'm not the only one that feels it?
Oh, definitely not the only one.
What's going on?
I don't know, but we need to hide like yesterday.
Where? Amani says, looking around.
We're in a ship graveyard. We gotta get creative.
You're kind of on the edge of the ship graveyard now. You do see you're starting to enter what looks to be a forest.
The trees will hide us.
I was
as
gonna
best
say
we
we could.
can.
Yeah, I agree. We could climb one of the trees.
Stick behind them. I don't think I can carry Bruno up a tree.
Did you forget I can basically teleport? Actually, that might be a bad idea right now. If we fall,
Wait.
that's gonna be catastrophic.
Wait,
Okay, I
Veruna,
can
what if
fly. Wait a second.
Veruna transforms into a weapon form?
Are you saying this to Veruna?
Yes.
She does not respond to you. You look down at her, speaking to her, and she is unconscious.
Oh, great. Well, he'll let it rest then. Let's try to find some sort of civilization and fast.
I thought that was my phone going off. Oh my god.
You guys move into the trees, and you get a little ways past the edge of the border to the ship graveyard. What do you want to do?
Okay. Could I do multiple things at once?
That depends. What would you like to do?
I was thinking I could use Blessing of the Storm, because it says select yourself or an ally to become cloaked.
Mm-hmm.
And cloaked as in, like, just invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So, like,
Not really invisible, more like it surrounds their body.
Obscures them.
Yeah.
okay, so it just makes them harder to see. Well, that's still helpful. Since Veruna's injured, I was thinking I could cast that on Silva, and it would obscure them both because, well, Silva's obviously carrying one of them.
I would let you make that argument.
Exactly. So I'm thinking I could do that, and that would also give them the ability to fly, so they could, like, get up and away. Or is that still just, like, on me? Because it says, Blessing of the Storm. Select yourself or an ally to become cloaked in whirling storm winds. Ranged attacks have a disadvantage. Gain the ability to fly short distances.
It is whoever's cloaked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could cloak them. They could, like, fly up into a tree and hide.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Does it... I'm trying to think of a scenario all of us get away and I can't. Where is there like a cave nearby or anything?
I don't know. Why don't you roll a perception check?
Alright. I was just being slow now. Fuck me. A 9. I'm just rolling all the shit things.
So you look around and you mostly see the ship graveyard behind you and very, very large trees around you. You do not see any type of hills or surfaces that a cave might be in your current area.
Okay. So what's my AP looking like? Is it still at 43, or is it, since we've got knocked out, would it have gone up?
It has not gone up because while you were unconscious, I'm not counting that as a rest.
Fair
Okay.
enough. Okay. That is 9 AP. Okay. So I turn towards the rest of the group and I go, okay, idea. I turn into a sword and have Imari, yes, names, yes. Imani, there we go. Imani casts. I hate how that resets. Oh god. Oh no. Tears of the Storm. No. Blessing of the Storm.
Blessing of the Storm?
We go. There we go. Yeah. I ever used Blessing of the Storm on you two, and you two can, like, it will give you the ability to fly a short distance, so you might be able to get up in one of those trees, away from whatever the fuck is causing that freaky ass feeling. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So what do you think?
I think that sounds like a good idea then.
All right. Monty, you have anything to say to this? Anything to add?
At this point, that seems like a good idea. She's not even looking at you. She's looking around the area. Her eyes are wide, almost like a rabbit that's been caught in a trap.
All right. I try and get her to focus before this, so nothing, like, might go wrong or anything.
Okay.
Hey. Okay.
She looks back at you.
It's like, focus here for like 5 minutes while we do this. We don't want whatever that thing is, whatever's out there, start flying around. Because, dear God.
That's fair.
It'll be worse than that.
Probably. It'll probably be worse than that.
God, if you only knew it was causing it.
Yeah, if only you
Yeah.
knew.
Why do you two know this is rigged?
I know what's causing it because
Well, I know you know. You're the DM, but why
I
does
invented
Silva
what was
know?
causing it.
yeah.
Silva, you pickle. Ah, so rude. How could
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any hoodles. Okay, so I turn into my weapon form.
Okay.
And do that. Do the thing.
Okay. So I'm not gonna make you roll for it because you are focused. I will not make you roll
Yes.
this time. You cast Blessing of the Storm on Silva. Silva, you are, as it says, ranged attacks have disadvantage on you. You have the ability to fly short distances, and all melee attacks add an additional 1d10 force damage and shove the target away for up to 10 feet.
All right. Yeah, he's going to look for a tree that has some stable branches, and he's gonna fly up there to try to lay her to rest.
When I say these are big ass trees, I mean they are big ass trees. You
Like,
have
are we
plenty of
meaning
options.
redwood forest level trees?
Yeah, I'm talking like
Ah.
this some fantasy level shit, like Jurassic style large ass trees.
All right.
Holy fuck.
In that case,
It's a dinosaur.
well,
Wait, is
he's
it a dinosaur?
he is obscured, so I'm
Yep.
not worried about that. I guess I'm gonna also look for just like anywhere to lay down to rest.
Okay. So you are you going up into one of the trees then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys get up and, you know, find a tree that has a very comfortable kind of like sometimes how the branches will form like a crevice in the center. You guys find one, and it's kind of a reasonably flat-ish area in the center. So you place your sister down.
Wait a second. Flat-ish? Does that sound like a fucking nest?
Are we in a nest? Don't worry. The thing that we felt is not a bird. I will tell you that.
It's
I won't
not
tell you
a
what
bird.
it is, but I'll tell you what it's not. It's a
I'll
bird,
tell
not
you
a
what it's not.
bird.
It's not
a bird.
It's not something that can fly. Okay. Can it climb?
Don't worry
That's a good
about
question.
Okay. May I roll a perception check to look around the area?
it. Sure.
Maybe it can turn invisible. Who knows?
Oh god, I swear to god, if it's a fucking shark
Maybe
with
it's a
swords
shark
or
with
something.
swords.
I was just say, if it's a shark with swords or something, I rolled a 16, by the way.
I can't wait till you meet the shark with swords.
Yeah.
There's a shark
no,
with
there's-
swords now? Wait, am I supposed to
there's
add
a-
that?
Don't worry about
Wait.
it.
It's
You
supposed to-
haven't looked far enough into the art channel
Wait,
yet,
wait,
apparently.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Am I supposed to add the... No, I'm not. Okay. Hi. Anyways. Roll the 16.
Roll a 16, so you're looking around the area for what?
Any sign of what's causing that awful feeling of just dread.
You look around, and it's not like the dread is coming from a specific direction. It's kind of all encompassing. And you really
Is there
can't get a
above me?
sense of like where it's coming from. But with that roll, as you are looking around, you do make out what sounds like voices.
Oh no, people.
One sec. What kind of voices?
Conversational voices.
Conversational voices.
You hear a little bit of coughing. You hear a very sharp feminine voice say, "I am never letting you get me on one of those things again." And a male respond, "Well, we're not dead. So that's a plus, right?" Shut the fuck up, Liam.
Huh, huh.
Okay. So, hypothetically speaking, if I then casted that on Imani, I'll remember the name eventually. Could they get up into the tree.
I mean, theoretically, you never asked. Amani could probably get up into the tree just without help.
This is true. Why does that say laser shark under it? Also, I found the sword shark.
Don't worry about it.
That is awesome, and I love it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's a separate thing. That is not what we're afraid of. But yes.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, I look over at Amani and be like, "Hey, think you can climb that tree?"
Don't even have to ask, she says, and takes off. And with the agility
Wait, am I
of
still in the sword form? Or
yeah,
am I
she's
in...
holding on to you. With
Oh,
the
fuck yeah.
agility of a like Olympic gymnast, she scales this tree using your blade for supports at times when there's nothing to grab onto. And soon enough, she has flipped up and landed on the crux, kind of this flattish area of the tree, beside Silva.
Gotcha. So how much is there more room for me to like turn back into my...
Yeah, there's plenty of room up here.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
there's room for all of you up here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, I turn back into my human form and look at them and I agree. And I say, I agree, we should probably rest because whatever that is probably still around. I don't know if we can get up here. Don't know, but I say we gather our strength and also see if we can find a way to make Verita feel better.
Silva,
And not
roll me a perception check.
Okay.
All right.
Perception check.
Yeah, go ahead, both of you.
Hey.
Total. 17.
Okay.
I got an 11.
You're too focused on what you're saying. Silva, however, you start to hear the voices as well.
Mm-hmm.
You start to hear the voices. You make him sound like he's crazy. Like he's just going crazy.
Somebody is.
Are you alright? You hear a soft voice. I think so. You hear another voice. Or you. I'll be okay. I landed on something else. There's a soft laugh. So where the hell are we? You hear a sharp male voice say. Well, judging by my calculations, you hear a much younger female voice say, somewhere in the killing grounds.
Could I do some?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's also the flapping of wings through the
nice.
floors.
Yeah. You said it wasn't a bird. What the fuck?
This is a separate thing.
It's not.
Sort of. So yeah.
Is it the people?
I don't know, is it?
Yeah.
You want to investigate?
I don't want to
Yeah.
investigate.
Do you want a perception? Do you want to perceptify?
Can I perceptify again?
You can try, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, they're not being quiet, so if you listen close enough, you'll probably be able to hear them.
Well, I will perceptify real fast. Hold the phone. I got a 14.
Okay, yeah, you're starting to hear the voices as well. You hear a flapping of what sounds like wings.
And you hear a voice. Pidge, I would like you to never build any craft like that again. I'm so glad I wasn't a part of it, though.
I second that. You hear another female voice.
Wait a second, Pidge, isn't that...
Where the
Really
hell
does?
are we? Why
according to
does
Pidge.
everything hurt?
Well, that's because you chose to fly on the Deathcraft.
Well, I wasn't about to let you carry me, Uncle Somi.
Listen, I could probably do a better job at not dying.
Don't
Wait, is the guy who
listen me.
can obliterate a fucking ocean?
No.
Sorry, talk to me.
No, we need to figure out, well, first our mission, but also where the hell Apollyon went.
Wait a second. It gets very quiet immediately. All of the voices die out. Brian, Silva, what do you want to do?
Stay just as still as humanly possible and do not make a sound.
Neither does Silva.
You listen. You hold your breath. Then you hear a slight crunch from somewhere beneath you. You lean close so you can peer over the edge, down the trunk towards the ground.
I wouldn't have done that personally. I don't like heights.
You don't see anything. So you straighten back out. And the two of you look at each other, and there's this look of relief that passes between you. Do you say anything?
Nope.
Silva is completely quiet.
Just keep quiet. Keep calm and nobody explodes.
You two stay quiet. However, Imani lets out a breath. Well, I'm glad that's over. From behind you on the branch, directly behind you, Brian, you hear, "Hey, what you doing?" You
Holy
turn. There is a small child crouched, almost in like a monkey, kind of feline-ish stance. She has this beautiful long red hair that is kind of pulled half into a braid that's messily become unscrewed. Her face is covered in dirt and hints of oil, and she's a little scratched up. And she is sitting there in this stance with her head tilted, looking at you curiously. That's the first thing you notice about her. The second thing you notice about her is there is an intense, powerful energy radiating from her tiny body.
Perception check.
Go ahead. What are you
fucking 3.
What are you looking for?
What the source of that indescribable power you said was radiating off of her is? Like if there's like weapon or something, like a bomb
You don't
or a
see
flamethrower.
You don't see any weapon on her at all, actually. You just see a child.
Flamethrower?
Her hands are empty. She's crouched there, looking at you. But she does, while she's waiting for an answer, reach into the pocket of her hoodie, pull out a chip, and start eating it. You guys
who
not
are
talk
you?
much?
Not
well,
strangers, no. Not to,
we just...
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian, you go.
Sorry, but we don't know you, and we were just attacked by what I can only describe as a giant beaver shark.
A beaver shark?
I look at Silva, and I go,
What's
yes,
a beaver shark?
shark.
She says, eating another chip.
It's like a shark mixed with a beaver, and it's giant, and it broke our ship. So we have no clue where we are.
I like you. You're kind of dumb.
Rude, first of all.
Yeah, I don't really care, because I know
But
that
you're
you
not
need
wrong.
help. She points in your direction, Silva. It seems that whatever is cloaking you, she is ignoring it.
No, bro, is just straight up ignoring my fucking thing.
Well, shit.
Not
who
you.
are you?
That one, she says, pointing towards your sister.
Yes,
She
we're
crawls
looking...
forward without waiting for permission and moves a hand toward her. Her soul's fading.
I would prefer it if it wasn't.
Me too. It's prettier that way. She straightens up. I have someone who can help, but you have to be nice.
I will do exactly that, I hope.
She squints at you. You're not bad guys, right?
Well, what defines a bad guy?
I don't know. Murderers, thieves, goblins. You're not a goblin, are you?
Do I look like one?
She tilts her head. No. Alright, Uncle Somi, it's safe.
You don't say. Who is it up there?
I don't fucking know.
He appears. He sort of flies up to where they are in the tree.
And you are greeted by, if you would like, you can post in NPC face claims if you want one of the accurate pictures of him right now.
You
He
mean
could
amongst
also
all
check
the ships?
Yeah, you can also check in the sheets if you'd like.
the bottom of the character sheets with the white
Yeah,
mask.
with the mask. That's the one you see with the tiny wings.
Mhm.
So he lands next to the small child.
Let's say the wings look more like, well, hopefully the ones in I sent to art with like the ink, like
Yeah.
wings.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, fresh blood. Who are you guys, and why are you guys in the killing grounds?"
Pretty sure we can wait on that. That one needs help, she says, pointing to the body. Soma, you cannot see past the concealment, so you only see Brian and Amani.
Uh-huh.
She's just pointing at this point to blank tree for you.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're pointing at.
The girl, dumbass, she's right there.
I see a cloud of smoke, or whatever that is.
Can you make this stupid thing go away? She waves a hand in your face, Silva.
That's not me.
You,
Yeah,
she says, pointing at you. Make
Oh,
it
yeah, the
stop.
Okay. I turn back into my weapon form.
You don't have to turn back in to deactivate it.
Oh, I don't? I didn't know that. Okay, I deactivate the spell.
Okay, so you deactivate the spell, and immediately, Soma, you see Silva, who is crouching, I assume, kind of protectively over a female who is not looking good. She is
holy fucking shit.
bleeding profusely. The skin that you can see on her is that grayish pale. Her fingertips are starting to blue out.
What happened to her exactly?
She fell, Amani says, kind of from the back.
Someone's gonna look at the wound, or look for the wound.
You look at the wound. It is a wound that goes either from the front to the back or the back to the front. You're not really sure, but it has pierced some major shit, and judging by the tone of her skin, she has lost a significant amount of blood.
Oh, she was stabbed. Oh, this one's an easy one to take care of. Let me take care of her.
Do you need any help? I can boost nature-based moves if that's what you're gonna do.
Nature, no. Katya says, looking over at you.
You heard me. I don't stutter. I might be dumb, but I don't stutter.
No, my brother does the nature thing, but he's across the world right now. Let's see. He's going to look at her as Silva sort of like shifts away so he can get a good view.
Katya kind of leans over her face, and she goes, "You might want to, like, bite down on something. This is gonna hurt."
It's gonna hurt a lot. And he's going to... Silva sort of like puts his arm in her mouth for her to bite down on him. And...
that is an interesting mental image right there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. What is it? And then Soma is going to place his hand on the piece of rebar sticking out. He's going to say, "All right, 1, 2," and then before he says 3, he yanks it out.
Ooh.
There is a horrific, muffled scream that comes from out of her mouth. It is awful.
And he's going to now cauterize the wound.
That scream is almost worse.
Yep.
She's writhing beneath your hands, and Brian, you kind of watch in horror as flames spew from this guy's palm, impacting her skin and singeing it, burning it. That scent of burned human flesh begins to fill the air.
And there's something about these flames that is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The vibe is off, man.
Yeah, you just met the longest lasting character in the entire campaign.
Yeah, and he can incinerate an ocean, and honestly,
Maybe one day he'll fight the ocean.
if he fights the ocean, I want to be there to witness.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe I don't. Maybe I might get incinerated with the ocean. That'd be unfortunate.
Probably.
I just get incinerated. Just
A lake is definitely no match for him, but I'm not sure. We'll get to the ocean one day.
One day.
God.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're watching in horror as this wound is being cauterized, and there is this awful scream ripping from her mouth. And from somewhere below you, you hear, Soma?
Yeah,
What are you doing?
cauterizing a random person.
Oh my god. And that's where I'm gonna cut it off.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Because tomorrow at
Makes me so
6
mad.
p.m., you're gonna meet the rest of the crew who are now standing around the tree you're all in, listening as
actually
Soma
so mad.
burns this girl alive.
I'm
Actually-
actually so mad. I enjoyed that so much.
Oh yeah?
Out of curiosity,
Very
could I do a cool thing to lay it off on a cliffhanger?
Go ahead.
Would you dare?
Could
Don't you
I?
leave it on the cliffhanger.
Could
do it.
I do?
Mhm.
Could I do the voice once?
You just wanna test it to make sure it's good.
I just want to test it.
Yeah,
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right,
Go
cool.
ahead,
Hold on
test
one
it.
sec. Here. Yeah. I'm gonna do it while you describe what.
So, you are watching in terror. Like, you have seen people's wounds get cauterized before. Okay, that is manageable. But there's something about watching this happen as that all-encompassing fear crawls up your throat. That is so horribly unsettling. The thought of that creature coming back, the thought of whatever is causing this feeling to you, it is distracting almost to the point that you find yourself entranced, not really seeing what's in front of you anymore, not really focusing on it because something else is drawing your attention. Something else in shadow and darkness surrounding you, and it's almost so minute that you don't notice it at first. But there's a voice. You think it might be in the back of your head. You think maybe it's your own inner demons coming forth. You're not sure, but there is this voice.
Roll for accidentally killing a player character.
Burning flesh. Oh, I've missed that smell.
Okay, that's cool.
Damn, it sounds good.
Hey. God damn, I wish my voice changer worked. It broke.
Hell
And-
yeah. So that's where I'm gonna cut it off until tomorrow.
I fucking hate
Mhm.
cliffhangers with a passion. God damn it.
We will have more tomorrow.
We will have
I
more
know,
tomorrow.
But it's after. It's at 6.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 4 for me.